a little thing I also want us to add to this clip is perhaps some text or so to what he's saying. And that actually takes a bit that would actually take a bit of work. Not so much work, but yeah. So we discussed earlier about how we could work with templates and create from scratch. So I'm just going to give you this little brief introduction to how what Premiere Pro has. So you see this area here, this workspace here that has graphics. When I click on it, graphics, uh, all right, that takes me to a different timeline when I can work with several templates here. Right, I have several templates that I can just keep scrolling down into. It has different text animations and different lower thirds and credits and just a couple of them, and you could download if you want to. You have so many of them that we could add. For instance, this one I could drag and drop here. I could drag and drop that there. Alright, cool. Alright, just telling me about the fonts that it has that I do not have, so don't mind this. So this is what we'll drag in here. And if I play in, I'm coming. Alright, full move there. Okay. So that should actually display my screen. It's not displaying perhaps it's time. Okay, taking its time. Alright, let's give it a sec.
Yesterday at one of our halls in Edo State, in the Okada, Union University Okada.
Let me just go ahead and render that side in and out. And hope it shows up. Okay, alright, so that's it there. I think this is one of the reasons we stated that Premiere Pro actually is a heavy application and you do need to use quite a heavy system for it. So this is a lower third example that we could actually use and stuff. It has all these things and I can edit some of the titles from over here. I can call him Matthias. Yeah, Matthias Ehizwa. Yeah, cool. And then alright, so that's it there. And CEO Ehizwa. Okay, cool. And okay, those automatically applied. Let me just drag this down a bit. So cool, and move it to the side. Yeah, so this is an example of what we can actually work with. What we can actually work with as a template from what we have inside Premiere Pro. There are a couple of them. News intros, new transitions, you saw there. So many of it that we could work with. Just in case you do not want to create your own lower third, or just in case you don't want to create your lower third. I think I have this one I've created a while back by drag and drop this. Alright, this is another lower third. And so okay, so we have a couple of those things that we can work with. Let me just delete this. But in most cases we have to create our own. So that's what we're going to be talking about here. While you can download lower thirds, you can get your own specific lower third. You can also create yours if you want to. You can create your own lower third if you want to do that. So let's do that now. Let's do that now, and then as I think, as we move on, I'll show you guys how you can download your own templates, or be it an opener, transitions, or lower tide in this case. So let's go ahead. Before we do that, I'm going to try to free this space so it doesn't look so noisy. So just select everything here, or press Ctrl A if I don't want to do what I just did now. Right click and nest it. Nests and say first take. Say that first take. I don't know why I'm first take, but we'll work with that. And say okay. Cool. Alright, so we just kind of combined what we had up here and down there. It's okay. So next first take. I did that a second time. I don't know why. First take. Okay. Alright, so let me go back down because I need the layer free over here. So let's go on. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to type out his name. This aspect has to do with us going into it has to do with us going into the effect and controls. We're going to work in a lot with effect and controls and also at the graphics panel. Let me free this space here, come for editing. And okay, go ahead and type his name Matthias. Type that properly. Matthias Ehi. So cool. Alright, click here. Arrange it properly. And I'll go to my effects, my graphics here. Because I'm going to work in a lot from my effects, my essential graphics. I'm going to work in from there a lot because this is actually its time. Yeah. So I'll go down here to edit, and I have so many options on how I can work with my text. Here, so many options over here. So from there, I'll come here, take my favorite font, which is Montserrat. I don't know why, but it is my favorite font, Montserrat. Maybe come down here and drag this down a bit. I could do this, or perhaps just come here and reduce the scale. Or maybe make this 80 and 890, 80 and enter. That takes me down. Yeah, that down a bit. Cool. All right. So I could change his color. I think I'm okay. I'm quite okay with white without having this color as white. But let's assume I want to make it maybe a different color. I just come down there, fill, click on fill, and choose a different color. White, yellow. Okay, yellow can work for me. And say okay. Yeah, not too visible yet, so I can add no stroke. I do not intend to add a stroke. Yeah, so but let's assume I had a stroke and I make it all black. Yeah, it makes it more visible and stuff. I can increase the scale of my stroke. Okay, increase the scale of my stroke here, but no, I don't like strokes in my designs. I don't like strokes in my design. I rather have a background, or in this case a shadow. I'll work with the shadow instead. So I just need to move the opacity of my shadow a bit up. This here represents the opacity of my shadow, and right now it is 75. So I'll hold and drag up, or maybe type, just raise it up to 100, and okay, and then increase the spread of it. Okay, cool. Yeah, my system is hanging a bit, but I think we can work with it. And then also this. Alright, so we have something looking like this now, making him more visible, that the name more visible and stuff. So depending on how you want it to look, it works. So what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to move the distance a bit backwards. I'll move the distance a bit backwards. It's not written, but if you have your mouse hovered on top of it, you see what each icon actually represents and stuff. Good. So this is the angle clearly. This is opacity. this is the distance and this is the size of the shadow you want. I just reduce the size, and also I'm going to reduce the opacity a bit, just a bit, just a little bit. Yeah, good, because I do not want the shadow to be obvious. This aspect of what we're doing is design, right? It's design. Sometimes we just like our stuff to look like, I don't know, a little bit presentable. So good. So I have that there, and another thing I'm going to add today is a shape. I'm going to add the shape to this. So I'll walk down here and hold down on my pen tool. Just hold down on this option here. Just hold down, and then other options will appear. In this case, I'm going to work with my rectangle. I click on my rectangle and come here, hold and drag down, hold and drag down. Cool. All right, that's all I wanted to do, and it has this very gray feel. Gray, it's gray, it's gray. Yeah, it's gray. Perfect, that's gray. Okay, I'll just keep zooming in. H and to move much more closer. B. Okay, so we have this here. Move it closer to the name. Fill, change that color to white. And say okay. All right, that works for me. I just want a simple line. I just want a simple line. Just that's all I want. Cool. So I think the next thing I'm going to do is to add is title. But mind you, everything or every element that is being created on our effects and graphics here, right on this layer, shows up here. Like right now we have that shape, which is this. If I turn off the eye icon here, you see that disappears. It disappears. So I'll bring it back up right here. Cool. All right. So lower third here is not complete until I do this. So I'll come here, click here, like we did before, add another text, and this time I'll call this text. It will be his position. I'll say CEO Ehiswa Hub. Okay, cool. Back down here, check here, down below. Here, cool. All right, and I'm going to reduce the font size a bit. Make it perhaps 30. Just drag it down a bit. Okay, cool. Bring it down a bit. And also, perhaps I'm going to make it 50. That's too small. Okay, that's not. Alright, 40 then. Alright, 40 works for me. And also come here and change the family, make it medium. And also the color. I'll go down to the fill and make the fill to be white. Just all white. I'll remove my shadow. I don't want a shadow in this case. Just white, yeah. But this time I'm going to be adding the background. So I click on my background here. Cool. And the color of the background, I'll make it red. I'll make that red. All red. Say okay to that. Cool. Nice. And I need the opacity to be a bit higher. Okay. And this here represents the size. And this is the corner radius, or if we want curved corners, that's what we do here. So I'm going to increase the size of the background a bit higher. Yeah, increase it a bit higher, and also the corner radius. Going to make it a bit curvy. Okay, cool. All right, so this is not what we have. Okay, one last thing. Let me just go back to Israel Hub. I think that corner is a bit too curvy. That's too curvy for me. So I'll type here and just make it 15. Okay. All right, that works for me. And maybe make the text to be italic. All right, cool. All right, I'm okay with this. So this is what we have, and it is a lower third. I'm not so sure how nice this lower third looks right now, whether it's nice or whether it's not nice. I'm not so sure, but it's something, right? Change this color back to white. I think like I prefer white. Yeah, cool. Thank you. Thank you very much. I prefer white. Yeah. So I'm not so sure the looks of this, but this is just a simple lower third design that we have. We can try out a couple of them out if we want to. Whatever design, whatever way you want your lower third to look like, you can design it. Yeah, but the special thing about this is that we can also animate our lower thirds in Premiere Pro. There are tons of animation that we can actually do on Premiere Pro, and we can have the text animate the way we want it to. So, before I do that, I'm going to save this as lower to especially just so that we will be able to use it another time whenever it is we want to, perhaps on a different project. So let's just save it in the database of Premiere Pro here. So what I'll do is that I'll right click and I'll export as motion graphics templates. Okay, and I'll give it a name. I'll call it lower third students, just because I'm working with students here, and say okay. All right, that should apply. All right, so it's saving, taking a while to save. All right, cool. So we have that saved here, and if I go down to my browser, yeah, remember we are under graphics, essential graphics. If I go down here and I type lower third students, that should appear there. Okay, enter. All right, so this is it here. So whenever we need it on a different project, for instance, we can always have it. Just hold and drag, and that comes up there also. So we have it here again. So, but then again, we're not working on that. So, all right, so we have his lower tag that shows his name. Cool, good design, if you ask me. But the other thing we could do to make this look even more interesting is to animate it.